might go headphoneless this time as well. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it together so that
I'll just keep it here. In
I
case
don't look like a loser.
Yeah. Do I look silly like this?
No, but leave them there because people need to know that you're a DJ.
Exactly. Precisely.
Side gigs and shit.
Leave it all in.
Just leave it there. It's fine.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another stellar episode of the Real Estate Playbook, your and my favorite podcast. I'm here with a fan favorite of the show, one might say. She goes by many names, but today we're going to call her Cherilyn, a.k.a. Chevy Mitchell. Applause, applause, applause.
Applause. Hi, Paul. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Chevy?
I'm doing fantastic. Great sunny day.
That's right.
Can't complain.
That's right, in the A13. Last time we did this, I was in Vegas, and I think we did it over Zoom.
We did do it over Zoom. This is actually our first in-person.
That's right. This is the first time we met, actually, so nice to meet you.
The first time we met, yes.
Kidding. No, Chevy, obviously I know you quite well. For the people out there that don't, who is Cherilyn Mitchell?
Ooh, well, Cherilyn Mitchell is a realtor, a mom, a sister, daughter, obviously. And, fun fact. Used to play hockey, not anymore.
Nice.
Old, but that's who Cherilyn Mitchell is.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. I didn't know you played hockey.
I did. Grew up playing hockey in Alaska.
Did you break some necks?
It's another story for another day.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time here.
Okay. Yes, so, Cherilyn, you came from Alaska to Florida. I think we talked about it on the last one.
Yeah.
If people haven't seen that, go check it out. But I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Some things have changed, right?
A lot of things have changed. Yeah. Yep. It's been a while since we've seen each other.
That's right. The biggest development, perhaps, is you taking on a new role as team lead. Is that right?
Yep.
Is that the correct title, by the way? Or?
Agent advisor.
Agent advisor,
Just
okay.
because we don't want to confuse people. We don't have traditional teams like most real estate companies do. So we changed it to agent advisor.
Very cool. So what does that role sort of entail, and kind of how have you been liking it?
So agent advisor mostly entails new person comes onto the brokerage, whether they're brand new to real estate or they're seasoned veteran and they're going to be an independent agent. Every agent goes onto a team. And then as an agent advisor, I'm here to kind of help answer questions for people, whether it's our brokerage policies and how we do things here, or if you're a brand new agent, definitely here. We have a great training program, obviously, that Allison runs. Shout out to Allison because, whoa.
Allie B.
Get it. But once they're kind of through her training program and in the process, the agent advisors are here. We help answer your questions. You know, you're writing up an offer and you're like, I'm not sure if I should check this box or not, or how do I handle this situation? What do I do now? So we're just kind of here to help out and answer questions and help people progress in their career.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned mentoring or being the leader for like newly licensed people. I remember earlier this year we were seeing like a lot of newly licensed or people in the process of getting their license. Has that slowed down at all, or are you still seeing a lot of that?
Yeah, I think it's slowed down quite a bit as the market shifted, right? People are like, ooh, maybe that's not such a good idea, because I think a lot of people new to the industry that don't already have a foot in the door, they feel like maybe now is not the right time. You know, last year was where everybody saw it as the big money maker. And that the market was hot and it was going to be easy. And now that it's kind of slowed down, it doesn't look quite as easy anymore, which it wasn't last year either, but it looked like it.
Yeah, I always think of like success stories like Alexis Machine.
Right.
The freaking machine, which
I
talk about
Alexis the Machine.
And I talk about her on here too much,
We should probably stop doing that. She's floating right now.
She's good. She doesn't need the ego boost, right? But like, do you think that the current like market conditions are too difficult for somebody to have like a quote unquote success story like Alexis, or is that possibility still there?
I mean, for anybody that doesn't know the backstory that's just now tuning in, right? Alexis got really lucky with a lead. She worked them extremely well, took care of them, made sure that they were happy. Well, this lead also happened to be an investor. So that's kind of where that really blossomed and blew up really big for Alexis. And she's done an amazing job of handling them. As for the average agent, that's just, I mean, that's a lottery ticket, right?
Yeah,
it's
stroke of luck almost.
Yeah, it's a stroke of luck. She just happened to grab a lead that was really, really, really good, and she did a great job with them.
Yeah.
For the average agent, it doesn't mean that you can't still be successful and make a lot of money. You just have to be willing to work for it and put in the time and the effort and the energy and take those leads and work those leads and that kind of thing.
So part of it is almost like the cheesy saying of like, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you don't catch the L's every once in a while, you know, there's not going to be any W's, right?
I mean, right. And the other side of that, especially if you come to a brokerage like ours where we offer leads, it's still a numbers game to a point in that not every single lead is going to convert. So there's, the analytical number side of it too, where you have to take a certain number of leads in order to get one contract. And so, that's all broken down. And if you're only taking 1 or 2 leads, you can't expect that those 1 or 2 leads are always going to convert.
Exactly. Cast a wide net.
Yep.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, consider it dating.
That's right.
But for real estate.
Yeah. Treat every client like it's a first date, right?
Right, like it's a first date. Those
Well,
Tinder.
maybe not exactly.
You can't
but...
swipe left on everybody, or is it right? Left, right. Oh, anyways.
Listen, I don't even know. Speaking of the market, though, Cherilyn, we talked about it in previous episodes, but I'm curious your take on it. What kind of things have changed since last year, and for the better, for worse?
I would say a lot for the better for our buyers, right? Last year was obviously a seller's market. It was crazy hot. Everybody knew that. The beginning of this year started out the same way. This summer, things have started to mellow out and level out. Yes, we have finally reached this plateau, and we're just going to ride it out. But that's really good for our buyers because, buyers right now are not competing with 25 other offers to get a house. And, they're not having to submit an offer that's $20,000 over list price and waiving all of their contingencies. They can put contingencies in now. We don't have to worry so much about that. They can ask for repairs. They can ask for seller concessions. And right now they're much more likely to get them. On the list side, it's a little harder because you have a lot of sellers who still think this summer is last summer.
Right.
And you have to kind of ease them into that ship has sailed.
That's tricky. So are you having to have a lot of difficult conversations with people of they're not exactly going quote unquote hotcakes like they were?
Yeah. I've had to do that recently, actually.
Yeah.
We priced a house really well and it still has not had any movement, and we just had to do a $15K price reduction, which it sucks.
Right.
But if it's not moving, there's nothing we can do. And we didn't even overprice it. We priced it really well for neighborhood comps, but it is what it is, I guess.
You got to sell the house, people.
Yep.
So are you having to, because I remember there was an adage going around when the seller's market was at its peak, there's you put a sign in the yard and, the house kind of sells itself almost. So now I feel like list agents probably are having to market their listings a little bit more, right?
Yeah, we're definitely having to market. You've got your sign in the yard. We're back to doing open houses with intention and purpose, not just do an open house the day it lists so that your sellers don't have to worry about all these appointments. Now we're actually doing them to try to gain traction.
Yeah.
Tons more marketing because it's not flying off the market in 1 or 2 days. So it's a little difficult.
Very
but,
cool.
that's what we're here for.
I'm definitely seeing a lot more open houses being posted on social media and whatnot.
Yes,
so.
a lot more.
Yeah. I remember I used to do that as a kid. Just my parents would take me to random open houses and stuff when we were house shopping.
Houses.
I'm just this is awesome. Yeah, no stress involved for me.
I just like to drive around and look at houses.
Exactly.
And now we make a career of it.
Precisely. Well, it's good to hear that it's mellowing out a little bit more. I think that's easy for sort of everybody involved.
Well, from the buy side.
Right.
Sellers are having a rough time.
Maybe a year ago I should have done this, right?
Sellers are a little grumpy right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. We were talking, Cherilyn, a little bit about newly licensed people and people that are fresh to the game, fresh to the real estate world. What are some common misconceptions you see from these people or others in general about the career of real estate?
Just about real estate in general. Oh gosh.
A lot, I'm sure.
Can we just throw out this for everybody in the general public that realtors do not make 3% on every single deal?
What?
I really want people to know that.
It varies for sure.
It varies for sure. And then another thing is, even if it is 3%, we don't get that clean. There is, obviously, we still have to pay our own taxes.
Of
but
course.
Depending on which side of the deal you're on, there's still marketing costs. There's your broker splits. There's a lot of associated costs. It's really rough when people just see, especially at the closing table, they see the Alta statement, and it's oh, well, they made
bully for you
$15,000. I wish I made $15,000.
Right.
Thanks. So there's that. That's a huge misconception for the general public, right? I think as new agents, people coming in, they kind of think the same thing in the sense of they can see the difference where the commissions might be different. They're not 3%, and they know that they have these broker splits, but then they also think that, oh, this is an easy job and anybody can do it. And, someone comes to me and I sell them a house, but you have to work for it.
Exactly, yeah. Honestly, that was one of the first revelations I had when I started working here was oh, it's not exactly what you think it is. Like I worked at a car, again, one of those things I talk about all the time, but I worked at a car dealership before I had the job here. And there was much less, division in the pie. It was more so like what you see is like what their commission
Right,
is.
right. Well, and with car sales, right, we're talking a much lower price point. And when people want to buy a new car, sometimes people put a lot of thought into it, but a lot of time it can be impulsive, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just going to stop in and look at the brand new cars. And then
Exactly.
next thing you know, you're walking out of the dealership, traded your car in, you've got a brand new set of wheels. It's not quite that simple with real estate and $500,000 transactions.
So that was the revelation I had was like, oh, like they actually really have to work for this commission.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while you get a nice, easy one that people see one or two houses and they're like, oh my God, no, we just love that one. And they want to buy it. And you're like, oh, thank you.
Blessing, right?
Right. Thank you. I don't know what I did to the real estate gods today, but thank you. And then there are other days that you show 75 houses and then they decide to go to new construction without you.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, that one hurts.
You did just make me think of something, though, that I don't think I've talked about since, man, it's been months probably. But new construction, the vibe of the builders has shifted a little bit, has it not?
Oh, a little bit?
A lot of it?
A lot of it.
Okay.
A lot of it. I had some new construction earlier this year, and when the closing came towards the end of summer, right before school started, I was arguing with the builder over the commission. Now they're calling us on a daily basis, multiple builders at a time, I get so many builder emails every single day. Oh, we're going to give $25,000 in closing costs to the buyer, and we're going to give you 10%. I mean, not 10%, but I've seen up to 5%. Literally have seen up to 5% now. And I'm like, I was just arguing for 1% 3 months ago. Can I have the 5% on that deal?
Back to the dating thing. It's like you don't know what you got until it's gone, right, builders?
Yeah. See? Now they're back on Tinder.
Yeah, exactly. They signed up. They're like, I'll pay for the first date. Yeah.
I'll pay for everything. Just
Cute.
please go on a date with me.
So does that make new home construction a more attractive option for buyers in any way?
For some, yeah. It really is making it a little more enticing.
Right.
But it comes down to timeline and what they're looking for. What the hard part is, even though builders are offering all of this great stuff, we do still have high interest rates.
Yeah.
And that's what's really scaring people right now and slowing stuff down is, I mean, we're over 7 right now. Ouch. So yeah, that hurts my soul.
Yeah.
So it's not completely outrageous, but when people look at last year and they could have gotten some at 2%, now they have to pay 7%. And every time that interest goes up, that cuts back on your buying power. So that's what's really hurting a lot of people. So even with a lot of these incentives from the builders, it's really hard for people because they've still got to be able to afford 7% interest.
Yeah. I heard this quote recently that was like, love the house, date the rate or something like that.
You marry the house and date the rate.
There it is. Yeah.
There it is. And we try to explain that to people in different aspects. It depends. Most people will buy and sell and move within 5 to 7 years. So if that's your plan, then absolutely. If you plan to live there even longer than that, even better. But if you're not going to live there but a year or 2, maybe 3, it's not even worth it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. I lost my train of thought there because I never heard that explained before, but it makes total sense, right?
Right.
So shifting a little bit away from the market, Cherilyn, and more towards you, because how long have you been licensed now, my friend? It's been a while, right?
A little over 2 years.
Excellent. So you've seen a lot of changes in those 2 years, I'd imagine.
Yeah. It's been a crazy 2 years, I'll tell you that.
What are some lessons that you've learned, Cherilyn? I mean, it doesn't have to be multiple. It could be one thing that you'd want to share with the audience.
I mean, I think one thing that we've all learned is you've got to have an agent on your side. You got to have a good agent on your side, an agent that's going to communicate, an agent that genuinely just meshes well with you. If you get an agent and they don't mesh well with you, it's okay to change agents. Just please do us all a favor and don't wait till you're so far in the process that now we've spent hours and hours and miles and time and everything else to help you. But if you meet with someone for the first time or two and you're like, just don't mesh well with them.
The vibe isn't right.
That's okay. Not everybody's for everybody. Another big one, I would say, because A, time is money, and B, most of us have multiple appointments all the time. Like some days we have just one appointment and it's easy, but an appointment time is an appointment time, right? If you say 3 o'clock, our appointment's at 3:00. That doesn't mean 3:30, and I probably won't still be there at 3:30 waiting for you. So.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, to draw a comparison to the car dealership thing, again, that's like one of those situations where you can kind of just show up and test drive something, but
Right, you can, but we have to schedule these appointments with
exactly.
the sellers, with their agent. We have certain times, and if there are people scheduled after us, and at the end of the day, you wouldn't show up 30 minutes late to your doctor's appointment, to your hair appointment, stuff like that. So,
not to mention you guys are driving all over Kingdom Come to meet these people. Yeah,
all over. Today was almost from Riverview to Venice to Lutz, back to Riverview.
Oy vey.
I got out of the Venice till tomorrow. It's fine.
There you go. Well, thanks for meeting me here, Cherilyn. What was I about to ask you? Just a totally random side thought. Do realtors commonly write off like expenses like fuel and that sort of thing?
Yes, generally it's mileage, right? So the federal mileage rate changes every year. I think last year was like 58 cents a mile. So, we have like mileage trackers and we track all of our miles, that kind of thing. And then you can write off, I think technically there's like a standard amount, but depending on who your tax accountant is,
hey,
you could write off all of those miles, just write down your beginning of the year and your end of the year.
Love that.
Yeah. But yes, we definitely write off mileage.
I've never asked that before, but you made me think of it.
There's some wear and tear on your car, but you only get one or the other, right? Like if you take mileage, you can't take any of the other expenses.
I see.
We could talk for days about taxes. I used to do accounting, but let's
this
not.
is right, yeah.
Let's not. It's really boring. Let's not.
Yeah, that's not your candy, I don't think, by any stretch.
No.
Yeah.
Let's talk about taxes today.
Love it. Sherilyn, I love asking this question because it often stumps people.
Okay.
What do you think the world of real estate will look like 5 years from now?
Oh, it will. I think we're gonna probably have a lot of the like crypto housing purchases, but outside of that, who knows, right? Like, look at where our market was 5 years ago.
5 months ago.
Yeah. 5 months ago. Right, but do you think 5 years ago anybody could have predicted anything that happened in the last 5 years? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet has been a savior and a point of contention.
Certainly, yeah.
For all of us. It's great, right? Because everybody's got the ability to go on and check things out at their leisure, but that's also a huge pain in our butt sometimes. It's that instant gratification world that we live in.
Yeah.
Like, I can click a button and go see a house. But the world of real estate has changed a lot, but I think a lot of it is mostly changing for the better. Kind of keeps us up to speed with everything that's going on in the rest of the world. So who knows what we'll see in a few years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Hopefully still me.
Hopefully, yes.
That's the plan.
To your point about like the internet, I remember, in marketing here, we had somebody that was trying to pitch us something a long time ago, and he was asking us like what was one of our biggest struggles with like leads that came in through our website. And I don't know if you would agree, but I told him, I was like, I think a big part of it is you get a lot of like window shoppers, like people that aren't actually serious buyers.
Yeah, yep.
So yeah, I definitely think that plays into the whole internet of things, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, people clicking on, I want to see this house is kind of the equivalent of adding to cart and then not purchasing your cart.
So true, though.
Sometimes, I mean, you get a lot of serious buyers too, which is great. But we definitely get a lot of window shoppers and, you just keep talking to them and weed out if they are like really, truly just window shopping because sometimes it happens. I like to look at houses in other states too.
I do as well.
I love to look at $1 million houses.
I follow a couple accounts on like Twitter that are like mid-century listings.
Yeah.
And they're all in like the Midwest and they're like 2 million plus. And I'm like, I'm never going to live there. But like, man, these pictures are nice. I'll tell you what.
I'm never moving to Kansas, but let's look at some houses there.
You never know.
No, I can tell you that.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass on Kansas. Cherilyn, I think I have just one more question for you, my friend. So I like to get insight into the mind of top performing individuals like yourself.
Okay.
So
top performing. Oof.
It sounds like I'm about to ask like a sinister question, but
it feels like it. That
right?
feels very like this pedestal that I don't. Nope.
Well, interesting individuals like yourself.
Okay.
Then.
Interesting. Yep.
So if you could recommend like a piece of media, being a book or a podcast or a movie or a TV show that you feel has influenced you in some way, what would your recommendation be and why?
Gosh, There's a lot of books out there, right? Airplane reading. Lots of great podcasts that I don't listen to.
Yeah, I hear you on
Even
that
though I'm
one.
in the car all the time, I get too distracted. One book that I really like, and I've actually sent it to a few people, is the book "You Are a Badass." Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah. Okay. Of course.
There's a whole series. You're a badass. You're a badass at making money. You're a badass every day. It's just kind of a good book, not to be like super into like crazy self-help, like, ooh, I need the, there's a lot of books that kind of go a little extreme to me.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of a good one to remind yourself that you can do this. You've got this. Just put your mind to it. You're a badass. And here we go.
I love that. You made me think of something. Tell me to what degree you concur with this statement. I think it was Annie that told me this. And I was asking her, like, what was her biggest weakness or, like, an obstacle she had to overcome. And she's like, I think I had to, like, give myself permission at one point to sort of, I don't remember the exact quote, but she was basically talking about, like, imposter syndrome, if you're familiar with that.
Right.
Do you think that's something that a lot of agents sort of grapple with early on in their career, or?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Right. And you kind of come into this and you're like, oh, yeah, I can do this. I'm, selling Tampa.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody on selling Tampa.
Well.
But like you kind of see these TV shows and you see all this and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to be this person and put on this persona. But you haven't done any of the work on either yourself or your career to actually fully be able to commit to that and fully be able to, do what needs to be done. And if you can't do that, then we're right back at imposter syndrome.
That's right. That's right.
Just, it's all a show. Smoke and mirrors.
Whoosh, we're not even real. Yeah, we're not even here right now. No, that's a great recommendation, my friend. I've seen those books everywhere, and I've never read them.
Listen, there's a journal if you need one too.
Yeah,
About being a badass.
I love that.
Yep.
Put all my crazy thoughts in there.
Yep, you can put all of your daily affirmations in there.
I'm a badass. I'm a badass.
I'm a badass. 3 times a day. Write it down.
Love it. It's a mantra. Cherilyn, my friend, we blew through those questions quite quickly there.
Wow.
Say that 3 times fast.
Oh, nope.
Do you have anything that you want to promote, social media or anything like that?
Yeah, my social media, except for don't ask me what it is because I'm really bad at it.
It's Cherilyn Mitchell. If
He'll
you can
tag
spell
me
her
later.
name. Exactly. Yeah, you can figure it out, guys.
You're already on social media. You probably know it better than I do.
I think that's it, my friend. I don't have anything to cover this week as far as plugs or anything like that. So
No plugs, no sponsors,
no plugs
nothing.
this week,
Shoot.
my friend. Just
All right.
the
Well,
social
just
media and the
Social
YouTube
media.
and the blah
I
blah.
think it's Cherilyn Realtor, Cherilyn_Realtor on Instagram.
It's a unique name. You'll find
I
it,
should
guys.
probably know this.
It's all right. I think many people that I ask that question are either like they don't want to put it out there, or same thing, they can't remember what it is off the top of their head.
Yeah,
but
no, I think it's Cherilyn_Realtor on Instagram.
bingo.
Check it.
Drop a like, drop a follow. Say what's up.
Click that little heart button.
Exactly. Cherilyn, my friend, I appreciate you making the time for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
On
You
Sunday.
got it, boss.
And yeah, have a great day, everyone out there.
Have a wonderful Sunday.
And we'll see you next week.
Signing off.
Theme music.